he's a complicated person. He's one of these people who is clearly sick. He lives by his own rules and his own laws, and the laws of society, they don't dictate what he can and can't do or control his behavior. And to some degree, our government enabled that thinking, right? They basically let him get away with it. So that only compounded the problem. But he was a master manipulator. He wanted to always be in control and have power, control all of his employees, have some political connections and influence there, scientific connections. And then, when I was really getting in his way and trying to prosecute him and hold him accountable, he filed a lawsuit against me. That was a very contentious personal battle. But no matter how contentious it got, when I would meet with him in person, he was charming, charismatic, funny. He made you want to like him. You had to almost, in a strange way, I know this is crazy to hear, but when you would talk to him, I would find myself saying, you know what, some of what he says makes sense. There's some likable qualities about him, and then I have to remind myself, wait, all these things that he's done to all these people, he's really just trying to manipulate me. And so I'd have to keep my own head straight. That's how good he was. He was probably as good as it gets at being in control of every conversation and just manipulating everyone around him at all times.
Is that why you describe him as a genius sociopath?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect description. I worked hard to figure out the exact way to describe him. That hits it right on the head. When people find out exactly how that happened, they wonder, how is it that he was able to victimize so many people? Well, he tried to manipulate me, and I knew what he was up to. He manipulated everyone around him, adults, children. These girls had no chance whatsoever, and that's why he was able to access over 100 young girls and do the kind of things that he was able to do. So do I like him as a person? Of course not. I think that his morals and ethics are the most distorted of anybody's. But I still had a lot of questions for him, and like I said in the book, it would have been very difficult once he was behind bars for me not to go to see him sometime and say, look, now let's talk about what you actually did, why you did it. You have nothing left to hide. Start coming clean, which is something I thought would eventually happen.
What is the most outstanding question that you would have liked to ask him?
What motivated you to start targeting the age range that you were targeting? I have my suspicions about the answer, but that's one thing that I really want to know. Was it somebody else who influenced him? Was it his own childhood? Did it just happen the first time by happenstance and he enjoyed it, so he developed an operation? I just don't know the answer to that, but I always wanted to. And for obvious reasons, he could never tell me.
You have no doubt that he committed suicide?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he committed suicide. That's not to say if he didn't stay, in prison longer, somebody else might have eventually killed him. But I think once his bond was revoked and he no longer had access to all of the girls that he was getting brought to him and no longer had control of his employees, and when his, the powerful people that he was connected to started turning against him publicly, I think his world just crashed in, and the only control he had left was over his life. And so he took it.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.